When was the last time you had a dream? Do you remember it? When was the last time you had a nightmare? A nightmare so disturbing, disgusting, horrifying. A dream so weird that it left you tossing and turning only to wake up and sweat with a sense of despair. David Lynch can probably tell you. Eraserhead is David Lynch's first feature film. If you don't know who David Lynch is, well, he's the guy that made
We've met before, haven't we?
Tell me.
I'll fuck anything that moves!
A damn fine cup of coffee.
Yeah, that guy. At the time, David was living in Philadelphia. Living there had such an effect on him. He boiled up so much pressure and anxiety that an idea came to him. An idea of a world filled with dread, where the only way out is to never return alive. This film took David Lynch 5 years to make, with a small but dedicated crew. This film met financial troubles to the point where David Lynch was even living on set. David didn't have a full script of the film, but instead had storyboards and a rough outline of what was going to happen on the day on set. David Lynch's unwavering determination led to one of the most experimental yet horrifying dreamlike films in all of cinema. A nightmare within a nightmare. A film about anxiety. A film that captures a nightmare on screen perfectly. Welcome to another edition of The Artist's Choice.
In heaven, everything is fine. In heaven, everything is fine. In heaven, everything is fine. You got your good things, and I've got mine.
I came across this film like I usually do with all my other movies I've talked about on this channel. I was sifting through the Criterion collection at my local Barnes & Nobles, where I saw Eraserhead. The cover stunned me and I was immediately intrigued, though I held off from getting it because it was like $60. So I picked up Akira Kurosawa's Dreams instead. But eventually I went back to the same spot and it was still there, so I decided to pick it up and give it a watch. I got home, put it in my Xbox, and watched what I can only describe in 3 words. What the fuck? What episode of The Twilight Zone was I watching? Needless to say, I had no idea what I watched, and I couldn't wrap my head around it. So I watched it again 2 more times. I had pieced bits and pieces of it together, but I really couldn't get into it. I have heard so much of David Lynch's work and the praise, but honestly, I couldn't see the hype after this movie. So I went ahead and watched Blue Velvet, Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me, and Twin Peaks The Return. I'm low-key thinking about making a video about Twin Peaks. After viewing those projects, I went back to Eraserhead and viewed it a 4th and a 5th time, and came out of it horrified. As always, this is just my opinion and personal take on the film. This is one of those films where hardly anything gets explained and you come out asking more questions than answered. There are many interpretations of this film, and this is mine. In the first few images of the film, we see a nightmarish planet. And within this planet is the man who controls it all. He drops this fetus-looking monster into a puddle, signifying birth. Then we see a man who's looking up as if he was just dropped into this world too. This film explores the idea of unexpected parenthood and how it can make you feel trapped. We follow Henry, the main character. As Henry stumbles about in this new world, it's as if he's exploring this world for the first time. It seems like each scene that he's walking in, he's looking around as if this is the first time he's actually seeing this world. There's a scene where Henry steps into a puddle of water, but we don't hear the splash. Certain sound effects aren't there. David Lynch uses the absence of sound to create a almost eerie effect because your mind automatically puts the sound to the action, but when you watch the film, it isn't there. This is how David Lynch is able to create a dreamlike quality. The ambient sound is filled with a nerve-wracking drone noise and a constant sound of factories and other industrial machinery happening in the background, all culminate to make you feel uncomfortable. As we see Henry walk about, we see him go into his apartment, where things feel more off. His houseplant has no pot. He keeps a bucket of water in a dresser, and there's a big pile of dirt on his dresser. His neighbor tells Henry that Mary called him and invited him for dinner at her place. We see Henry go to Mary's. As he enters the house, everything feels tense. Mary begins to spaz out. Mary's mother begins to interrogate and later on sexually harasses Henry. The father is a whack job who stares at Henry for prolonged periods of time. During this very weird and awkward dinner scene, Mary's father asks Henry to cut the chicken for the family dinner. Instead of normal-sized chickens, they're small and fill up 1/4 of the plate. Henry cuts into the chicken and it begins to spew out blood or some other kind of weird, mysterious liquid. The chicken also begins to twitch and move while Mary's mother begins to spaz out of control. After this very disturbing dinner sequence, it's revealed that Henry and Mary had sexual intercourse and that Mary had a baby. Henry begins to bleed from his nose and Mary begins to cry because now they have to get married and take care of a baby. David Lynch captures close-up images of wet, oily grounds to other weird textures to make us feel how grimy this world is. He uses harsh shadows to shroud the characters in a sense of fear. I absolutely love the imagery from this movie. Mary and Henry are in the apartment where we see the grotesque baby monster alien demon thing. Throughout the film, this baby cries and breathes heavily in the background, sometimes even laughing at Henry. This demon has a toll on Henry and Mary's relationship, where Mary leaves multiple times during the film, making Henry take care of the child the whole time. We cut to a dream within a dream, where Henry dreams about death as he wants out of this nightmare, but the only way out is to die. The baby becomes more disgusting as time goes on. The baby gets sick and warts and fungus begin to appear on its skin. The baby cries and whines more, driving Henry mad. When the neighbor across Henry's apartment locks herself out of her apartment, she asks if she can stay the night at his place. He says yes, and the two begin to sink in Henry's bed of lust, while the neighbor stares at the baby with horror. Another dream sequence ensues where Henry meets death, and she shows him the way out by dying. Just then, his head pops off and is replaced with the baby's head. I assume this is supposed to signify the effect of stress a child can put on someone, though extreme but fairly accurate. Henry's head begins to sink through the floor and crashes on the ground, where a kid picks up his head and takes it to a factory where they turn Henry's head into erasers, symbolizing all Henry wants to do is erase his mistakes. Henry tries to get back with his neighbor, but when he does, all the neighbor can see is just the baby's head on Henry's body. With the neighbor rejecting him, Henry is fed up with the baby. With Henry finally giving up on this world, he cuts the baby open. The baby screams and bleeds from its mouth. Once the child monster is open, Henry stabs its lungs, where this mysterious pus-like material begins to emerge from the lungs and encompassing the whole baby. The baby's neck grows longer, and all Henry can see is a giant baby head all over his apartment. At the end of the film, we see Henry choosing to escape this world by dying. He hugs death and escapes, ultimately breaking this world and its creator. This film is without a doubt an odd watch. Just like a dream, the more it goes on, the more weirder it gets. This film is disturbing, disgusting to hear and see, and it makes you feel very uncomfortable. The way I interpret this film is that it's all about fear and anxiety. The fear of taking care of something and the anxiety that comes with it. Wishing you could erase your mistakes of the past while trying to find outlets to distract you from the present. I've seen many videos about this film where people say it's about an awakening of consciousness or a film about suicidal thoughts. If I were to describe this movie in one word, it would be dreadful, but not in the bad way. In all the right ways. This is truly one of the most experimental horror films of all time, and what I thought was a fitting video to upload for Halloween. This film is an important one because this dreamlike quality can be seen throughout all of David Lynch's filmography, especially Twin Peaks. This film has inspired many directors to add a sense of dreamlike quality into their films. David Lynch once said that he loves to create strange worlds people can't get into. He just loves exploring strange worlds. David Lynch was a true auteur, and it's sad that he left this world. David Lynch made impact on film and TV alike, never taking no for an answer and always making what he wanted to make. David Lynch is one of my favorite directors and is a master at crafting dreams. We will miss you, David Lynch. You will never be forgotten. For more reviews and opinions on all things David Lynch, consider subscribing to the Negative Prince channel, and I will see you next month.